Welcome everyone to another episode of Retro Wrestling Reviews. Fredo Esparza here, and this week we look back at Mid-South Wrestling's May 6, 1982 show. But before we get to the review, be sure to click that subscribe button. We'll have more wrestling show reviews as well as the Lucha World podcast and other content available on this channel. This episode of Mid-South Wrestling was taped on April 28, 1982 at the Irish McNeil's Boys Club in Shreveport, Louisiana. Boyd Pierce was joined this week by Ted DiBiase on commentary. Pierce congratulated DiBiase on his non-title victory over Bob Roop on last week's show. DiBiase then thanked Pierce and also gave an update on his recovery from his leg injury that he said he was now healed as shown on last week's show. That was then followed by a recap of Dick Murdoch versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan from last week's show. First match on the show had Dick Murdoch beating Larry Higgins after a big elbow drop off the ropes got him the pin. DiBiase talked about Murdoch being a very good friend of his and also being a double tough guy. Murdoch tried to get an early pin on Higgins, but Higgins reached the ropes. Higgins got Murdoch in a headlock and tried for a slam, but Murdoch caught Higgins with a front facelock and took him down to the mat. Murdoch took him to the corner and hit an elbow. He then followed that up, whipping Higgins into the ropes and backdropped him, and then followed up with a big elbow drop off the ropes for the pin. The second match on the show had Bob Roop beating Buddy Landau after hitting him with a high knee strike that got him the pin. This was a pretty good competitive match with Landau getting in some offense against Roop. Roop got Landau in the head scissors before going back to work on Landau's left arm. They did a little mat work with Landau getting the advantage until Roop reached the ropes and landed a few elbows on Landau. They ended up back on the mat and Landau got Roop in a hammerlock and dropped a few more knees into Roop's back. Roop was able to counter Landau and kept attacking Landau. He pulled Landau's hair and took him down again and also taunted Ted DiBiase. Landau surprised Roop with a sunset flip for the near fall. Buddy then slammed Roop twice and then dropped an elbow and got a 2 count. They got tangled up in the ropes. Landau then tried to go for a roll-up off the ropes, but Roop sent him neck first into the top rope and knocked Landau down. Roop then whipped Landau into the ropes and hit him with a high knee strike for the pin. After the match, Roop then pointed at DiBiase. Third match on the show had Mr. Olympia beating Kelly Wayne after he caught him with a sleeper hold for the submission win. This had some good mat work to start out. Mr. Olympia got Wayne with a couple of arm drags and a big backdrop, and that led to Wayne heading to the outside. Wayne got back into the ring and got in a few cheap shots at Mr. Olympia, which fired him up, and he made a comeback slamming Kelly Wayne and then whipping him to the ropes and catching him with a sleeper hold for the win. Mr. Olympia was then told by the referee to wake up Wayne from his sleep. That was a very short match on this show. There was a couple of matches that were on here that was very short. The next match was the One-Man Gang and the Assassin with General Skandar Akbar beating the Big Cat Ernie Ladd and Iron Mag Sharpe by DQ when Ted DiBiase interfered when making the save for the Big Cat Ernie Ladd. Ladd and Sharpe attacked Gang and the Assassin before the bell rang. While brawling in the ring, Ladd threw some punches at Gang and sent him to the outside. Sharpe also sent the Assassin to the floor. Akbar talked to both outside before they headed back into the ring. Brawl continued with all 4 men in the ring. Ladd kept dishing it out at Gang while Sharpe got the Assassin in a bear hug. Ladd then chopped Gang and he went outside once again. The Assassin got a thumb into the eye of Sharpe, but that didn't stop Sharpe from getting him in a bear hug one more time. Ladd tagged back in and beat on the Assassin. Ladd lifted the Assassin high up in the air by holding him by the throat. The Assassin was able to tag Gang when he was tossed into the corner. Ladd got Gang in another bear hug, but the Assassin made the save. Ladd then fought off both of them. He punched Gang in the midsection and then knocked him down. Sharpe and the Assassin both got in the ring, and Sharpe got in some kicks and a big forearm. Sharpe then drop-kicked the Assassin and went for a move off the ropes, but Gang hit Sharpe with a knee to the back. Ladd tried to make the save, but the referee got him out of the ring. DiBiase was getting excited on commentary. The Assassin got Sharpe in a Boston Crab, and the Gang got in the ring to drop an elbow on Sharpe. Both the Assassin and the Gang continued to beat on Sharpe, and DiBiase mentioned on commentary that he couldn't stand seeing them doing that to Sharpe. Ladd got back in the ring and everyone kept brawling. DiBiase then told Pierce that he could not stand seeing someone trying to injure another wrestler, so he ran into the ring and made the save for Ernie Ladd. Ladd and DiBiase fought off Akbar's army. Referees DQ'd Ladd and Sharpe because of DiBiase's interference. Bob Roop then joined Boyd Pierce on commentary and talked about how Ted DiBiase was very unprofessional by interfering in the previous match. Roop said that he was going to call new Mid-South president Charlie Lee and recommend that he fine DiBiase at least $2,500 for interfering, but thought it should be more like $5,000. Roop said that Lee would probably call Boyd Pierce, and he wanted Pierce to corroborate his story of what DiBiase did. Pierce said he was not going to do that and felt DiBiase did what his heart felt. He also told Bob Roop that he was welcome to stay on commentary but didn't want him to use this airtime to promote himself or his agenda, which Roop agreed with. This was a really great segment. Bob Roop with such a straight face, like doing this promo and talking about how he felt DiBiase should be suspended and fined. I thought that was a great segment. The next match was the Junkyard Dog beating Bob Sweetan to retain the Louisiana title after he power slammed Sweetan for the win. The Junkyard Dog yelled at Sweetan as he entered the ring. JYD got Sweetan with a hip toss and a body slam. Sweetan and JYD then exchanged punches, forearms, elbows, and then JYD got Sweetan with a headbutt. Dog got in a few more punches. Sweetan took advantage of Junkyard Dog backing away and gained control of the match. Sweetan had JYD in a front face lock and then switched into more of a chokehold. They traded more punches until JYD tackled Sweetan through the middle rope. Sweetan then got back in and knocked JYD down. Sweetan climbed up to the top rope and tried to go for a top rope move, but JYD caught him and power slammed him for the pin. That was then followed by the sixth match on the show, which by this point in time, they're just filling time with these matches. The sixth match had Rick Ferrara beating Ron Cheatham with a small package. Ferrara would later move on from being an active wrestler to a referee in the Mid-South area. Ferrara used his strength early in the match. Cheatham had Ferrara in a headlock for some time. Ferrara was able to escape the headlock. Ferrara threw a few punches at Cheatham, but Cheatham countered with a slam on Ferrara. He went for a second slam, but when he did that, Ferrara caught Cheatham with a small package for the pin. This was a very short match, which was then followed by Boyd Pierce telling Bob Roop to leave the commentary desk. He thanked him, but also told him that he wasn't invited anyway, and Pierce said that he was going to go to the back to get Ted DiBiase to return to talk about what he did. Roop left, saying that DiBiase should be fined and warned him about interfering in any of his matches. Ted DiBiase then joined Boyd Pierce at the commentary desk and apologized for leaving the desk area. He said he couldn't stand watching someone possibly getting injured in the same way he was recently. DiBiase said that if Mid-South Wrestling wanted to fine him, he was not a wealthy man, but he would pay the fine. He apologized to Boyd Pierce, Mid-South Wrestling, and the fans, but did not apologize for his actions. He also said that if he had to carry a big stick or a weapon, he would do it. Last match on the show had Hacksaw Jim Duggan and the Grappler versus Kakoa Samoa and Jesse Barr, ending in a TV time limit draw. Barr went with a quick takedown on the Grappler, but he escaped and Barr tagged in Kakoa Samoa. A lot of quick tags in this match between Barr and Kakoa Samoa. The Grappler shoved Barr into the corner and got a knee in and got Barr with an atomic drop and tagged in Duggan. Duggan slammed Barr's head into the turnbuckles. Duggan slammed Barr into the corner one more time. All four men got in the ring and brawled. Duggan and the Grappler whipped Barr and Kakoa Samoa into each other, but that ended up getting reversed, and Barr and Samoa sent the Grappler and Duggan into each other right as TV time ran out and the bell rang. I thought this was an okay show. Best match on the show was Junkyard Dog versus Bob Sweetan, but the big highlight of the show was Ted DiBiase getting involved in the tag match and saving Ladd and Sharpe. The segment that followed with Roop joining Boyd Pierce on commentary was great, with him trying to get Pierce to corroborate his story about DiBiase interfering in the match. I thought that was great. Pierce was also hilarious, refusing to comply, and I thought that was also very fantastic. Roop and Landau also had a pretty good TV match. Rest of the matches were just okay. I think the tag match was pretty entertaining as well, but a show where it was more building up to Ted DiBiase and the Bob Roop, whatever their feud was going on at the time. So that was more building that up, and also building up Skandar Akbar's Devastation Incorporated feuding with Ernie Ladd. That's it for this review. Be sure to subscribe to the Retro Wrestling YouTube channel, and we'll be back again soon with more reviews.